FEA. I promised you earlier that we were going to have, Mr. John Kapi, who is the head of public affairs with WAEC, join us and let us know how preparations are ongoing and what the future holds if the government is not able to raise the money that they are looking for. We'll talk about that. But as we wait for him to join us via Zoom, let's try and delve into our next topic, the NIB report, the survey. Now, this is what the survey says. The survey says that Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, now it was actually conducted within the NPP scope, so it's not all Ghanaians, it's the NPP scope. Over 5,000 NPP persons were spoken to, and this is what they said. With regards to the vote, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh gathered 76.27%. The Education Minister, Honorable Yao Osei Educhum, gathered 10.16%. Honorable Osei Mensa Bonsu got 3.38%. Honorable Frema Opare got 3.34%. Honorable Joe Osei Wusu got 2.27%. And the others, so the others we have, should I call him Apostle Opokunyina? Yeah. And then Brian Champong and the others, they all came together at 4.57%. Now, this report was not meant for the public domain. It was meant to be kept. What are the security implications to that? Because NIB is supposed to be a sector that is our security sector, our intelligence sector. Now, back in the day, if somebody works in NIB, you won't even know the person works in NIB. Even if you're a policeman, you have to wear mufti. If you are a part of any force, you go out in mufti, so nobody knows that you are part of NIB. It's an intelligence area. Now, something like this has been leaked from our intelligence sector that upholds our highest security. What are the security implications? We are in election year. And Prof had a lot to say when I delved into that. So maybe I should start this with you again.
It's not fair because you started with me in the question. So
Prof says it's not fair.
Let the man in government give us the insights.
Oh, no. I'll come to Bernard Monadin. Bernard, since you don't want to start, it's fine.
It's only fair.
A proponents normally starts for opponents to come in. Mm-hmm. But why is the now National Investigation Bureau, formerly the Bureau of National Investigations, I don't know what it means.
It used to be BNI, now it's NIB.
I don't understand. Yeah. When you say NIB, people even think that is the bank. I don't know why we simply have to go this way, changing names, and in the end, what we actually do is that we waste stationery. And then we have to recraft most of the things that we do is what I call wasted money. Because if it's BNI, I mean, the record and trail of things are there. Now you change it, you have to go, checkbooks have to be changed, many stationery have to be changed to reflect the new logos and other things. And all that involves a lot of money. So sometimes I just don't get it. What has the name change got to do with the relevance of the things that we want to do, particularly when it is the same outfit, you appoint the same directors, nothing has changed significantly. All of that is still within the Ghana Police Service. And so then it will be better to change the name of the Ghana Police Service as well, so that you can, I mean, it doesn't gel at all. The second thing, which has to do with the polls that they conducted. And I hear your defense that they have been doing polls.
Yeah, they have.
And they leak them to you?
No, they don't leak. That's what I'm saying, that they don't leak. But this is the first time it's come out.
So
that's where there's a security
implication.
That's
correct. They've not been doing polls. They've been conducting intelligence.
Yes, intelligence.
So the difference between polls and intelligence.
It's actually intelligence. It's meant for them. So it's intelligence.
I have read what is said to have come from the Bureau. And if you are not terrified, I am terrified. The Bureau in their report seems excessively partisan. Excessively partisan. In that report, they are talking about the threats that are posed to the Vice President. What has that got to do with them? Any one of us could be president. So why are they talking about the threats of Alan Chiremanteng breaking out of the New Patriotic Party and it will harm the vice president and his choice of a running mate? Why is that a case for them? Did the NPP actually pay the NIB to conduct this research? If they did, and I've just heard the NPP come to distance themselves from it, meaning that they did not occasion, because I am told that individuals can even commission the NIB to do research for you because they have a nationwide coverage and then they can do that research for you. Now, if the NPP has already denied any of such, then it means that the NIB used state resources against many other reasons, many other opportunities that we could have used these resources for, to go and conduct a bogus research for the New Patriotic Party and to outline who should be taken as running mate. Look, if the vice president and the leader of the New Patriotic Party is unable to meet his own constitutional obligations.
But Bernard, as we are talking, we should know that the NPP has desisted itself from this report. And so you can't really say that they conducted it on behalf of the NPP.
I'm saying that. So if they didn't, the NPP did not do that.
Yeah.
So they used state resources in a manner that it's not deserving.
No, but how is it not deserving?
How is that deserving?
For intelligence,
who becomes Bawumia's running mate is of no concern to us. Let Bawumia go and...
It's of security concern.
To who?
To NIB.
To do what?
To everybody.
To what?
Because it's of security concern, Bernard.
How? Okay, give me, justify how it's of security concern.
What if somebody else is named and then there comes, you know, an outburst where people start fighting each other. And so they need to know, okay, if this person is leading, then we know where the security goes to. That's how it's supposed to be, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
I'm just, yes.
Okay, your host of the morning show should be of concern to the NIB because you are a security threat.
Everybody is a security threat.
And so, why are they not conducting research?
How?
So, the point I'm making is that, look, this is our resources. Now, the New Patriotic Party, by their own constitution, not ours, not by your decision, says that 12 months into the next election, the running mate must be named. They did their elections in October.
Yeah.
Then, instead of the running mate naming the flag bearer, bringing out his running mate choice in November or in December, they rather went to a National Executive Council meeting and said that the man has come to plead for time. And that is taking over 6 months. That is the national security challenge. What is making the vice president and the leader of the New Patriotic Party incapable of naming one of the many people that he has worked with that has earned him the so-called successes that he has earned as a vice president? Because obviously, he didn't work in all the ministries, he didn't work in all the departments. Some people contributed their minds, their energy, their talents to be able to achieve what the vice president is claiming that he has done.
Then there's still security risk here, isn't it? Because
there is zero security.
We understand that the NPP has actually delayed in naming their running mate. And because of this delay, now we have security implications. Yes, it's their fault, but still NIB has a role to play.
There's no rule for the NIB, and I can tell you that, look, the reason why all this thing is coming is that you recall the Petro SA deal that was stinky, that was really thievery at the, what do we call it, Ghana National Petroleum Authority. Freddie Blay was pushing it with Keno Forata. By Keno Forata's involvement, it means that Akufo-Addo was involved. And then the minister, and don't forget that Freddie Blay was the board chairman. The minister had to write, Ned had to write to Mr. President to point out that this is a very dirty deal that will affect Ghana and our involvement in the petroleum industry. So Matthew Opoku wrote that, virtually aborting one of their ways of stealing our wealth for themselves. They are not happy with it. You also recall that there was an issue with the sale of the oil refinery. And the minister said, no, he doesn't approve of it. Eventually, the Attorney General had to come and issue an opinion saying that the transaction should be stopped or halted, selling out Tema Oil Refinery. So they feel probably that the Minister for Energy, that from day one, everybody said was going to be the higher apparent. If he becomes, he will not tolerate some things that are ugly.
So is that where the security comes from?
So therefore, Mr. President doesn't want NAPO. And you recall recently when there was the energy...
Who says Mr. President doesn't...
Let me tell you.
Let me actually...
Can I make...
I'll let you make your...
Can I make
Mr.
this...
Kapi has been waiting for...
Let me make my final point.
Okay, please.
Let me tell you. So recently, recall when the energy crisis came. It took Osafo Mafu to come and say that nobody can issue a timetable except the Minister for Energy. In the past, you were not blaming Minister for Energy. You were blaming presidents. Even NAPO, as an opposition member, was blaming a president for ensuring that we were suffering blackout. Today, ministers come, because if Osafo Mafu is speaking, it means that they are doing everything to discredit NAPO.
Okay.
And that is where I come from. That look, in the view of this, and Baumia is the anointed, what we call it, person of Akufo-Addo. He is in limbo. Should I choose somebody that I want to choose? Or I choose somebody that Akufo-Addo and his team would say that, well, this is your choice, we'll back out. And that is the reason why the vice president is unable to name who should partner him.
All right. That says Bernard Mona. I promised you earlier that Mr. John Kapi was going to join us via Zoom. He is actually the head of public affairs with WAEC. Good morning, Mr. Kapi. Hello, Mr. Kapi. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. How are preparations towards the BC examination?
Good morning to your listeners. So far, preparations are ongoing. Printing of codes, printing of question papers is ongoing. We are also preparing to brief our examination officials. So I'll say that all preparations are on course.
That's great. And for the children as well, are they ready to write the exams on the 8th of July?
Sure, I guess so, because I believe that with the academic calendar, they would have done the 3 years. Our officers have been out there sensitizing them on examination rules and regulations, what they can do, what they cannot do, and then also giving them a few tips about how they can prepare themselves adequately for the examination.
Right. Currently, the government is owing you some amount of money. Now, if this money is not released, what are the implications? Because we have heard that there could be a postponement of the examination.
Yeah, so we have, as of last Friday, we received a warrant from the Ministry of Finance for an amount of 47.125 million. And this is what we are processing through the GIFMIS system. So as and when this becomes cash, we would be able to start the examination on the 8th of July, as we have stated.
Okay. So once it becomes cash?
That's right.
And when are we expecting it to become cash?
Well, it's a process. And my guess is that because of the urgency of the situation, the powers that be would expedite action so that we get this warrant transformed into cash so that we are able to carry out our mandate.
Now, again, we heard that if the monies are not released after the 47 million and we don't get enough monies being released, it means that the results will also delay. How much money do we need from the government aside the 47 million that will help start the examination for us to be able to release the results on time?
Well, that amount we may not be able to state categorically because that will depend on the number of examiners that we are going to engage. Sometimes you probably would invite about 2,000, and maybe you get just about 1,900 and something that would report. So that depends on the number of examiners that we get. That also depends on the number of strip checkers that we have. The number of marking venues, marking centers that we have across the country, and then, of course, stationery and other logistics that we need to carry out the marking process.
Okay, all right. So then you are going to let government know on time, right?
Sure, yes, we would.
Okay. Now, we are talking about the 47 million again. What's the deadline for the liquidation? If you don't get that cash at a certain time, then it means the postponement will happen. What time
So
are we looking at?
we, as I said earlier, due to the urgency of the situation, we hope that they would push and have the money made ready for us.
What if it doesn't happen?
By the 4th, sorry?
What if it doesn't happen on time?
If it doesn't happen on time, then it means I will have to postpone the examination.
So what's the timeline we are looking at?
So we would deploy our staff by the 4th of July. Okay. There would be, our vehicles are going to start moving. Staff will also start moving on the 4th of July. So we believe that if they are able to process the money before the 4th of July, we would be in a position to, carry out or conduct the examination as we have stated.
What would be a change in date mean to our education system?
Well, a change in date will have a number of effects because, first of all, then our schedule of work is going to be affected. Results would delay, and so that will also delay the commencement of the new academic year for those who are moving on from JHS to senior high school.
Wow. Well, we wish you all the best. We are hoping the monies will be released before the 4th of July. Thank you so much, Mr. Kapi.
Recording in progress. Recording.
Thank you and have a fantastic day. All right, so I've been speaking with Mr. Kapi, who is the head of public relations for WAEC, and he's saying that if there's any postponement, of course, we should know that the whole education system, there'll be a change in it. Thank you so much, Mr. Kapi, for telling us all of these. We are hoping that the 47 million will actually, they don't have it in cash yet. That's the thing. So it's still in the process. They're hoping to get it before the 4th of July. If they don't get it before the 4th of July, then there'll be a postponement. And we hope that will not happen. Back to the studio. And Bernard was getting very hot about it. He's letting us know that there are people who are not in agreement if NAPO becomes the running mate for Dr. Bawumia, hence the delay. So maybe I should ask Ben about it as well. You have actually, your political party has desisted yourself from this report.
Well, Rosalind, that was a very reassuring message from John Kapi, who works at WAEC.
Reassuring.
I mean,
the man says that they have not received money. They received the warrant, and the warrant will go through processes.
That all materials, printing, questions are being printed and all that. What is more reassuring?
They have done their part, but they cannot transport the materials to where they have to go.
Nothing is going to be postponed. I am from government. I'm telling you that government is making a preparation to make sure that these funds go.
You work at the Ministry of Education.
At the end of the day,
he's saying that if the 47 million, they don't receive it in cash before the 4th of July, they'll postpone it.
Exactly. And I know that...
it's our general prayer that it doesn't happen.
Bernard, don't worry. These children are going to write their exams.
It's your son writing something.
It's very... No.
And that's the problem. Important. That's why you are not worried.
We look at this national security report. If you read the survey, it indicates that certain aspects of the survey or the report was very confidential, right? I am amazed that if something is meant to be classified or meant to be confidential, how come it's in the public domain? Look, I believe that we all need to understand that the running mate position, okay, or the ticket, is not an election. It is only when the flag bearer deems it fit and finds somebody who is very compatible to pair, that is when he makes the decision. And even with that, it goes to the National Council. Let us not forget that. In the history of the elephant family within the NPP, those who normally frontline, like what is currently happening, they get disappointed at the end of the day. And you can check. From 1996, Eduboy's time, to President Kufuor, whoever, even the current vice president, his name was not part of the people that were sent to the National Council. On 3 occasions, I stood by our then General Secretary John Bwedu that all the names that were submitted to National Council, they scrapped it.
It's not true.
So I am shocked.
It's not true.
That as at this time,
submitted
okay,
one name.
Yeah.
As at this time,
It's not true.
okay, as at this time, such names and reports that are supposed to be confidential, classified, are out in the public domain. What it means is that somebody is not doing their job, and there needs to be questioning.
How?
There needs to be probing. If a confidential report is out in the public domain, how did they get there? So therefore, it is good that the government has,
Why the struggle in selecting? Because, when it came to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, it was very easy.
Well, it wasn't.
It was very easy for,
it wasn't. I tell you
your current,
I wasn't there.
The current, at that time, flag bearer, that's Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to select him as a running mate. He was the only person that came on board as a running mate. There were no contenders.
Exactly like you were saying, we thought it was so easy until John Bwedu spoke on one of your sister stations.
Bernard,
Bernard, relax. John Bwedu told us that's exactly what happened. That there were certain names who were public.
Yes.
Foot soldiers and our base wanted that particular individual.
Who?
And then when they went to National Council, they said no, they can't take him.
They didn't.
So the flag bearer has the discretionary powers to mention a name.
From what your former flag bearer, again, His Excellency John Ajekum Kufuor said, he did say that when he was selecting, there were no interferences. When Nanado was selecting, there were no interferences. So how are you telling me that other names were presented and the management said, or the board said no, and so he went for somebody else?
This is not true.
At the decision level, it is not the flag bearer that makes the decision.
It's not true.
No, I am
so you're saying that what John Ajekum Kufuor said was a lie?
No, I'm saying that even when he does, or when you do mention a name, it goes to National Council.
Just for approval.
Okay, yes. But what happens if they do not approve?
They never will.
But he's no interference. It means that it was nothing like that.
Rosalind, some names or some people, if I like you as a person, and I feel that you and I are compatible,
Bernard,
but then at the end of the day, when the board or the management board of Joy Prime sits down and says, okay, you guys are good friends, but it's not in the interest of the party, or it's not in the interest of the company.
Who are you working with?
You understand?
Who are you working with?
So I am saying that at the end of the day, when they make such decision, it goes to National Council. National Council have to approve.
So who's holding it now? Is it National Council?
I am saying that, just like we are saying, by the end of this month, our running mate will be
I asked the question. I said, who is holding it? Is it the National Council or is the flag bearer? Who is holding it?
You see, when he's done with the name, National Council would have to meet to discuss.
So who is holding it?
I currently cannot tell of a sanctity if National Council is the one. But what I do know is that in the coming weeks, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will name his running mate.
Okay.
And I want to say that all those that normally lobby get disappointed at the end of the day.
All right.
So let's be mindful of that.
Let me bring Prof in.
And who is lobbying?
Rosalie, sometime in March. Sometime in March.
I can't mention any name, but you can see.
We're confidently speaking that by end of March they would have a running mate. Which month are we in?
What I can tell you,
June,
we're better
July.
than grandma.
Right? So for me, even the...
I really wish that... Wait, Prof.
Yeah?
Never again. I'm serious
Rosalie.
about it. No.
Okay.
Bernard.
Okay, I understand.
No.
It's okay.
It should never.
It's okay. I understand where you are coming from.
Yes, and please retract it.
I am sorry, but
thank you very much.
But she can be my grandma, though.
I do not condone that here. Please.
Okay. Well,
thank you.
Well,
if you decide to disgrace yourself on national TV,
no, but the good people of Ghana.
He has actually retracted.
Yeah, but if you decide to disgrace yourself,
Prof, go ahead.
it's really up to
Prof, go ahead.
But I mean, it's leadership, decisive decision making is key to it. And if by March it was being thrown around town that by end of March, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was going to have a running mate and we are in June and he's not, some people will start or begin to question his leadership credentials and qualities and credibility. But that's aside. I looked at this report in its entirety. I'm a lover of the security sector, and I'm going to dissect it from that perspective. And this is what the executive summary of the report reads. It says, Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, the Minister of Energy and Member of Parliament for Menchia South, is widely preferred among party members to be running mate to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia for the 2024 general elections. There is a strong consensus that the running mate should be selected from the Ashanti region. This is an executive summary coming from an intelligence body. For me, reading this report and this executive summary raises a lot of questions, right? And just not questions, but worrying questions. Whether this document is confidential or not, I'm really wondering what went into its compilation and conduct, because it's a very poor job as far as any statistical issues are concerned, and for that matter, even the tone in which, or the diction, it's not in intelligence form. So I'm even wondering if this is the kind of reports our national intelligence bodies are beginning to process, then we have no security in this country. That aside, in 2022, something fundamental happened within our security landscape. The president, in his own wisdom, of course, he has the power to do that, made significant changes to the security architecture of our country, right? Where he took the National Security Coordinator, who was a Major General, a two-star general, to the presidency as an advisor for what they created as the Accra Initiative, right? And elevated the deputy, a former Dankwa Institute executive, to be National Security Coordinator. Then went to the BNI, another security setup, right? Took the intelligence head there, and security parlance, we'll call that a debrief. Made him an ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo, right? To keep him at bay from our security setup. And again, elevated a deputy who was also a former executive of the Dankwa Institute. So by what we see here is a Dankwa Institute capture of our security or national security architecture. So if such a report emanates from our national security or intelligence setup, I will not be surprised, because we've bastardized this institution and politicized this by the very appointments we've made in the last 2 years.
Wait, do we have that for a fact?
But who are they? There's a fact. Who is the current National Security Coordinator? Was he not with DI, Dankwa Institute? Who is the current BNI boss? Was he not with Dankwa Institute? So for me, from where I sit, the Dankwa Institute has become an ideological grounds for training our intelligence heads. And that is problematic.
We are being joined on Zoom by Adib Sani, who is a security analyst, and he will definitely let us understand the security implications. So good morning, Adib. I'll come back to you.
All right, sure.
Please. Good morning, Adib.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's been a while.
Yes, indeed. And let me say a very good morning to your studio guests, especially my very good brother, Bernard Mona. I trust you all are doing well.
Fine, I'm guessing. I've spoken on your behalf.
Yes,
they said that they are all doing very well. So, Adib, talking about the NIB report, wow. Anyway, Adib, for this one I can't say, Better said it, so you've heard him. Adib, let's talk about the security.
He doesn't like eating in the morning.
Let's talk about the security implications with regards to the leakage of the NIB report that was done on the running mate for the NPP presidential candidate. How dire is this to our elections?
Well, thank you so much. First of all, let us make a sense of what the role of NIB is in safeguarding the security of Ghana. Indeed, the NIB, which was first called BNI, is the FBI of Ghana. It is the MI5. It is in charge of the internal security of the state, so far as the intelligence community is concerned. But for external intelligence gathering, it is the research department under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I've heard a number of people question why the NIB did that survey and whether it was within their remit to do so. Well, the news is it's within their remit to do so. The NIB can even investigate or gather intelligence about the relationship between a public office holder and a side chick. The NIB does intelligence gathering on the prices of onions and tomatoes on the market. Anything that has a bearing or a correlation with the security of the state creates that needs assessment for the NIB to be able to carry out an intelligence work. Okay, so it is not surprising that they have decided to conduct this survey based on a needs assessment. Someone was asking, okay, so why didn't they do it for the NDC when they were about to select their running mate? Well, maybe they have done it, but just I didn't leak. Maybe they haven't done it because the risk associated with the NPP's selection of a running mate is dire than that of the NDC. My only issue with this is the leakage. Surely there are two things to this, okay? Either someone didn't do his work well, or someone has an ill intention and deliberately leaked it because he wants NAPO to be the running mate. Okay, so these are the two main things that I think would come to play.
Then if that is it, then it means that the security is not as tight as it's supposed to be in NIB.
Oh, this is not the first time documents have leaked. Even documents that purpose to the movement of terrorist groups in the north have leaked before. Many others have leaked. And it makes me wonder what kind of due process we go through to ensure the integrity of these documents. In other jurisdictions, it is a big deal. I mean, the whole nation would come after you. All the security agencies would come after you to make sure that, yes, indeed, the one behind the leakage is dealt with according to the law. So if no investigation is being conducted into this matter, then surely it could be a deliberate attempt by some people within the NIB to leak this to favor NAPO, because it's not just constricted to Ghana. In other countries, the security services sometimes have their favorites, okay, especially the intelligence community. And I wouldn't be surprised if NAPO is their favorite, hence the deliberate leakage of this document to favor him. Otherwise, I would expect a swift investigation into this matter. And in the end, someone must be taken to task for the leakage, because it brings the whole institution into disrepute. I mean, for people who don't really have a full appreciation of the work of the intelligence community, think that it has become a party tool. It has become a government tool. I've heard sections of the population talk about the fact that the NIB, instead of ensuring national security, is rather focused on regime security. And it appears so. Especially when we have very sensitive information of this nature coming into the public space.
Okay, Adib. Thank you so much, Adib, for joining us. I wish I could have this conversation over a period of 1 hour, but unfortunately I can't. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very grateful. All right. So I'll quickly take everybody's take under a minute and then we can go. Yes, Prof, you will.
So what I was saying that since the change in leadership of our national security architecture, it's become very porous. And you can see leakages of such information emanating from it. But again, leakage or not, that was a very poor report. And I think that if these are the kind of reports our intelligence services will be providing, then we have no security or national security in this country. And that for me is worrisome.
Right.
In any case, this is not a poll. Right. It's the BNI does not do polls. Let's not get it wrong. they provide intelligence reports.
So this was one of the intelligence reports that got released.
And the format within which is even reported, diction, right, does not in any form or shape reflect an intelligence report.
Okay.
So I'm even wondering how that, it's a disgrace to our intelligence setup. And anyone watching the Mossad, right, the MI5, the FBI, and all the, the hawks in South Africa, all the intelligence or counterintelligence agencies that are deemed rivalry to that of Ghana, because, mind you, there is always some rivalry in terms of intelligence and counterintelligence when it comes to national security architectures. They'll be having a good laugh at Ghana.
Anyway, then your final take.
I want the party for soldiers and the base to understand that it is in the interest of the National Council to bring out a candidate or an aspirant, whoever it may be, as appointed by the flag bearer, who is going to unite our base. This election 2024 is an election that we must not joke at all about it. And they must be rest assured that in the coming weeks, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will bring out a candidate that will unite us. When we are united, we are still united, but when our base is very united, election 2024 would be possible. And like we always say, it is possible to break the 8, and we will take this country forward.
All right, Ben. Thank you so much. Bernard Mona.
There is no greater service to a people than the full execution of the mandate that you are entrusted with. It is only when you have executed that mandate to the admiration of your people that the people will willingly afford you another chance to lead them. It is not about sitting and touting it is possible when pupils cannot be assured on when they are going to write their exams because you owe them. When national, College of Education and nursing training schools are not able to get their allowances. When contractors work and unless they make noise, you don't pay them. When contractors do know that the government owes them about 17.9 billion, then government comes to say that they have released over 49 billion. What it means is that you have paid for all the contracts that you owe and have actually paid for future ones, yet contractors are still suffering. When you have a government with less integrity, you cannot be thinking about it as possible.
Right. All right. So, belated happy birthday to you, Barbara Inkum. You are the marketing director at Delta Paper Miller. Saturday was your birthday, and this is coming from Max Fuga. He says, may God bless you and grant you a long life and also grant you all your heart's desires. So enjoy the week. Saturday was your birthday, but I want you to enjoy the week, and it's coming from Max Fuga. Happy birthday, Barbara. Enjoy your week. And this is all time will permit us for this segment. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for holding us all the time. If you're looking for gadgets to buy, please and please again, go to Franco Trading Enterprise to get all your gadgets. It's a mobile phones, television set, CCTV cameras, and even many more. We have that. You can actually download the app on your phone, Franco Trading app, or visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone pepper perfie. So I couldn't read a lot of the messages. It's here during what's trending. We'll read a bit for us, and then during the show, we'll try to read all the messages. Thank you so much for watching Newsflash. My name is Roslyn Felly. Do stay. We'll be right back.
Newsflash was brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fear.